Would love to know who is here with me. So while we wait for some people to join, I would love it if you would drop a 1 in the chat if you are currently pregnant or a 2 if you are currently postpartum. So let's see who is here with us. Hi again. I see some people returning. And then I would also love for you to drop an M in the chat if you are currently or planning on breastfeeding or pumping. And then another one, just a little, two more fun ones. Put a G in the chat if you have Googled something like healthy meal ideas or pregnancy, safe exercises, anything like that that has to do with fitness or nutrition. I see a lot of M's coming through. Awesome. And then last but not least, let's see what has been or was your worst food aversion during pregnancy. I'll share mine, eggs and chicken equally. I still can't eat eggs today. So, I'd love to see, what food aversions we have going on here. So, thank you all so much for participating. It's awesome to see all your responses. I'm gonna get going because I have a lot to get through today, this is cracking me up seeing the chicken and eggs coming through the chat. So I am Andrea Walters. I am a certified Faster Way coach and fellow mama to the most handsome rainbow baby. If you joined my live booth yesterday, you probably saw him. And as awesome as he is, and as much joy as he brings to my life, he has shown me just how demanding motherhood is, both physically and mentally. Your hormones are all over the place. You're experiencing things for the first time. Your body hurts. There's emotions that creep in that you didn't even know existed. And it can just feel like a lot to navigate. And while there is so much we can't control when we become moms, there's also so much we can. And becoming a Faster Way certified coach really changed the trajectory of not just my motherhood journey, but my entire life, because it taught me how to fuel my body and my baby with the right foods, how to move my body strategically without spending hours in the gym, how to give up my all or nothing mentality, and most importantly, how to build really simple habits that fit into my life as a mom and as a wife. And so now I get to help other moms just like all of you learn the same things. So today I want to share 10 simple but powerful things that you can do as a new or expecting mama. And just to be super clear, I am not a doctor. So these strategies that I'm sharing are based on my personal experience, research that I've done, and what has worked for my clients at the Faster Way. But these are not meant to replace medical advice. So just please keep that in mind. You should always consult your doctor with any changes to nutrition or fitness. Now, I'm also going to attempt to drop some key points in the chat as we go through this today. I'm a one-woman show, so bear with me as I navigate all of this together. So, the first and possibly most important thing I want you to take away from today is invest in your health. Fueling your body with proper nutrition and moving your body strategically during pregnancy and postpartum are not nice to haves. They are the essential building blocks of a strong pregnancy and restoring energy that you desperately need in that postpartum era. So, during pregnancy, your body goes through so many massive shifts: hormonal, structural, metabolic. Your organs literally shift inside of your body. Your brain actually changes. Like, if y'all have insomnia like I did when I was pregnant, just Google how a woman's brain changes during and after pregnancy, and you'll be good to go for hours on end. But I digress. So, look, nourishing your body properly helps regulate hormonal shifts, it helps stabilize your blood sugar. It helps support fetal development, and it can protect your mental health, which is so, so important, especially coming from someone who really struggled with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. So, regular movement during pregnancy can help reduce your risk of gestational diabetes and high blood pressure, and also that excessive weight gain. So I really want to encourage you to reframe the thought that the cost of wellness is an expense to viewing it as one of the best investments you will ever make, because it is. So, with that said, let's dive into the 10 nutrition and fitness strategies for all of you new and expecting mamas. So, okay, here I'm gonna drop some stuff in the chat. All right, first up is eat for two. Now, you have probably heard this before, but hear me loud and clear when I say eating for two does not mean doubling your portions. Instead of thinking about eating twice as much, it is more accurate to think about eating twice as well and focusing on nutrient dense whole foods rather than doubling those portion sizes. Now, of course, you do need some extra calories while you're pregnant or nursing, and that can be really difficult to figure out, but overeating can actually lead to excessive weight gain and increased complications like gestational diabetes and preeclampsia. So figuring out just how many extra calories you need can be difficult because every woman, every body, every pregnancy has different nutritional needs, especially if you're expecting multiples or if you're already overweight or underweight. So it's really important to consult with your OBGYN to determine exactly how many calories you need. But general recommendations typically fall around 200 to 400 calories a day in the second trimester, 500 calories a day in the third trimester, and then if you're breastfeeding to support milk production, you typically need 300 to 500 extra calories. Now, that may sound like a lot, but I want to put this into context for you. So, one serving of an almond milk yogurt with a side of banana and peanut butter is roughly 400 to 450 calories. And that's just a snack. So, it really doesn't take a whole lot to get those extra calories in. Now, in terms of eating twice as well, you really want to focus on foods with high nutrient density, which basically means how much nutritional value they have per calorie. Now, this is really important because there are studies that suggest that there's a pretty big correlation between what you eat when you're pregnant and your baby's microbiome, which basically means if they're more or less susceptible to illness. So, filling up on healthy calories and avoiding empty calories is essential to nourishing yourself and your baby. So, empty calories are going to be foods or drinks that are high in calories but lack those essential nutrients like vitamins, minerals, fiber, and protein that you need. So, at the Faster Way, we recommend focusing on whole foods. And we have a saying that if it comes from the ground or has a mother, it's fair game. So, another way you can think about whole food nutrition is just eating foods in their most natural state. So, we want to avoid foods that are processed, that have added sugars or chemical additives. So, just try to avoid those. Now, of course, as new moms, we need packaged foods from time to time. So, when you are choosing packaged foods, look for ones that have just a few ingredients that you can easily pronounce. If you can't pronounce an ingredient, chances are it's some type of chemical or additive. Now, I do want to mention that while we focus on whole healthy foods, at the Faster Way, we don't strictly label foods as approved or not approved. Instead, we really encourage you to learn what foods are beneficial for your body, things that help reduce inflammation, overcome brain fog, and things like that. So, the key takeaway here is that when you are eating for two, focus on the quality of food that you are consuming and eat foods in their most natural state as possible to provide your body with those key vitamins and minerals that are essential in pregnancy and postpartum. All right, next up, number two, make smart swaps. Now, I know cravings can hit like crazy when you're pregnant, and trust me, you do not have to give up all of your favorites. But the key here is to try to enjoy those treats sparingly and try to swap unhealthy options for healthy options when you can. In the Faster Way, Saturday is typically our designated treat day. Now, notice I said treat and not cheat because the word cheat has a really negative connotation, and that can lead to feeling guilty and really shameful. But treats are guilt free because we plan for them and we track them. And when you restrict yourself from treats altogether, it can actually lead to binge eating. So we just believe that incorporating treats regularly is part of a long term healthy lifestyle. Now, I also know that from my pregnancy, cravings happen a heck of a lot more than once a week. So, here are some things you can try to do with those healthy swaps. One, making a homemade smoothie bowl rather than indulging in a pint of ice cream. Have a banana with some peanut butter instead of a king size Reese's. Eat gluten free granola topped with freeze dried strawberries instead of Lucky Charms. Or if you're going to Chick fil A, pick the grilled nuggets and a kale crunch salad instead of the chicken sandwich. So, try to make those healthy swaps when you can. Now, in the Faster Way, you are encouraged to eat what you want based on your mood, your cravings, or even what's on sale at the grocery store. But planning for those makes it a whole lot easier. So, I want to take this one step further, which is like when you're stuck at the doctor's office and you're there way longer than you thought, or when baby arrives and you're nap trapped. nourishment needs to be within reach. So that brings me to number three, which is setting yourself up for success with healthy grab and go snacks. So whether that's in your purse, next to your nursing chair, in your refrigerator, healthy snacks are a must. Now, especially as your baby grows and you get more uncomfortable, eating large meals may not sound appealing at all. I know it didn't for me. So, consistent snacking on blood sugar stabilizing foods can help prevent some of those hormonal crashes. So, wherever you think you're going to be posted up nursing or sitting during naps, have a healthy snack bin there and ready to go with snacks that are not highly processed and that don't have a ton of added sugar. So, we want to focus on snacks that are rich in fiber, healthy fats, and proteins. And I actually have my little snack bin here to show y'all. So some of my favorite things, I absolutely love the Soli brand. The mango raspberry and the pineapple are awesome. Bear with the crunchy apple chips and banana chips. For protein, I like the chomps, jerkies. I have edamame here. So things that just have really simple ingredients that can be within reach. So you could also stock up on things like figs, dates, dried apricots, various nuts. So think of things that are going to be shelf stable that are healthy options in that snack bin. Now, you can also fill up your refrigerator with things like carrots and hummus, celery and peanut butter, unsweetened yogurt, fresh berries, all of that. So, the key takeaway here is that you can set yourself up for success by having healthy snacks ready and waiting, which makes healthy eating the default, not the exception. And when those nourishing foods are within arm's reach, you will eat better without even thinking about it. And trust me, when we become moms, like there is not another thing we need to be thinking about. So make it easy on yourself. Now, I've been talking a lot about food. And at the Faster Way, we like to track our food to make sure that we're actually getting enough of the right nutrients. But here is my little bonus secret for you is track how you feel after eating, not just what you eat. So when you are pregnant and even just generally as women, we're told, "Oh, eat healthy or get enough nutrients." But rarely are we taught to actually pay attention to how our body responds to certain foods. This is something that I really like to focus on with my clients in the Faster Way. So, by tracking what you eat and how your body feels afterwards, you can get a really clear understanding of which foods may be causing inflammation, blood sugar swings, or even which you may have a sensitivity to or an intolerance. So, if you keep a short log 30 to 60 minutes after meals, think about are you energized, bloated, fatigued, anxious? Does your stomach hurt? And then I also recommend tracking how you feel a day or two after. So, do your joints ache? Did you have trouble sleeping? Did you get a headache? Those subtle patterns can really help reveal blood sugar imbalances and possible intolerances and stress responses that often show up way before hormone shifts or weight retention does. So, if you notice any of those patterns, it's super important to let your doctor know. Now, tracking your food is also about tracking when you are eating. So, number five is intermittent fasting, which I know can sound scary or jarring to some people, but please hear me out. So, intermittent fasting is simply an eating schedule. And when you're pregnant or postpartum, your body desperately needs to know when it's going to get fueled. Now, for most women who are pregnant or breastfeeding, we'll suggest a 12-hour window of eating and a 12-hour window of fasting that aligns with your body's natural circadian rhythm. So, by eating during daylight hours and fasting during the night when you sleep, you can sync your schedule with just your body's natural 24-hour cycle, and that can help optimize digestion. So, I like to think of it as just a predictable rhythm that helps reduce those stress hormones. And by reducing those stress hormones, it can actually improve nutrient delivery to the placenta and help prevent overnight insulin spikes. So your baby is not depending on the exact moment you eat because they're constantly getting nourished through the placenta. So what matters more is that you're getting enough calories and enough of the right nutrients throughout that eating window. And that's where a Faster Way coach like me really helps you figure that out. Now, I also want to mention that at the Faster Way, we are not a set it and forget it program. So, my job is to support you in every stage of life, and that's going to change throughout pregnancy and postpartum. So, I'm here to help you navigate those shifts. For example, like if you are getting really full really fast, we might need to expand your feeding window so we can accommodate more frequent, smaller meals. Or if you are 9 months postpartum and you're starting to wean off of breastfeeding, maybe you want to experiment with a longer fasting period. So I'm here to help you kind of navigate that and do it safely. Now, part of intermittent fasting and that predictable schedule is also making sure that you are well hydrated, which brings me to number 6. So, drink plenty of water. You have likely heard this before, but it is usually pretty vague advice. So, let me share a few things with you. First is the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists suggests drinking 64 to 96 ounces of water per day while pregnant. But if you live in a drier climate like I do in Colorado, or if you are in high altitude, then you might need more water. And most of my clients typically are drinking 120 ounces of water per day or more. Now, why water is so important is because it is what helps form the amniotic fluid around your fetus. It also aids in the production of extra blood volume, which can increase by almost 50% when you're pregnant, which is still just like totally wild to me that we have that much extra blood. And then water also just helps those nutrients circulate through your body and to your baby. Now, in the postpartum era, water is also super important because you need it for digestion and milk production. So, on average, we can lose about 25 ounces of fluid through breast milk. So, while it can be helpful to like track how much water you're drinking, I like to say pay attention to when you're thirsty and drink when you're thirsty. You want to watch for those signs of dehydration. So, things like a dry mouth, dark urine, dizziness, those can all be signs that you are not drinking enough water. So, here are a few tips. Limit your intake of caffeine or sugary drinks. Those can increase the chances of you becoming dehydrated. If there aren't any concerns from your doctor, you can also try adding electrolyte powders. I really like this lemon lime one and the berry that we have. And then also, and this is probably the most important, keep a bottle of water in every room. So, remember the snack station that we just talked about? Put a bottle of water in it. So, breast milk is nearly 90% water. So, every time you nurse or pump, you're losing fluid. And even just like a 1 to 2% drop in hydration can trigger that intense thirst. And some moms, like me, even notice that extreme thirst within seconds of the letdown reflex. So, the key takeaway here is listen to your body and make sure you are drinking plenty of water. So, we've talked a lot about nutrition, and so I want to move over to movement. So, one of the most overlooked things, in my opinion, and what's kind of the most powerful is something called NEAT. It's an acronym for non exercise activity thermogenesis, which is basically just a fancy way of saying calories that you burn through everyday movement that is not formal exercise. Things like walking, cleaning, doing laundry, all of that. So, during pregnancy, that gentle movement can help circulation, and it can also help reduce swelling and inflammation and also help your body manage some of the blood sugar. So that then leads to a lower risk of gestational diabetes. So something as simple as a daily walk around the block can help improve that digestion, ease discomfort, and support better sleep. Now, once your baby is born and your provider has given you the green light, NEAT becomes a really, really beautiful bridge back into movement. For me, that meant putting my son in the stroller and walking around the block, or putting him in my baby carrier and swiffering the floors or prepping snacks so I could feel somewhat productive. So, those gentle movements help rebuild strength, they support your healing, and they can boost your mood. Now, another strategy for managing pregnancy and postnatal health is strength training. And that brings me to number 8, which is building the strength that motherhood demands. So, numerous studies suggest that regular exercise during pregnancy can lead to fewer interventions and reduce the risk of complications like gestational diabetes. And some even say that it can make it like a shorter labor for you. I don't know about that because mine was 34 hours. But anyway, strength training is not just about working out. It is truly about preparation. So building back strength, building core strength, building pelvic floor stability that you need to support your growing belly, to help you reduce pain as your center of gravity shifts with your belly, supporting that circulation. And then even in postpartum, once your provider clears you to move again, those gentle strength exercises help you with your posture, especially if you're nursing or rocking, and reduce that nagging back or shoulder pain. Plus, strength training can mimic real life activities, and that's what we call functional strength training. For example, bicep 21s are great for carrying a car seat. I personally love our Kiko Key Fit 35, and if anyone from Kiko is here, please fact check me, but I think it's only about 10 pounds. But once you add your 15-pound baby, you're now carrying 25 pounds. Like that requires some muscle. I also love shoulder presses because I cannot get enough of baby airplanes because of the little giggle that comes with them. So the takeaway here is that strength training is not about pushing your body to the max. It's about supporting and caring for your changing body. So I know I'm getting short on time, and so let me try to really quickly go through the rest of these. Number 9 is build your support team before you need it. Um, Gosh, pregnancy and postpartum, they're just not meant to be done alone. And a lot of us feel like we should do them alone. But there are things that specialists can help you with, and that's really important. The first one I want to talk about is pelvic floor physical therapy. I cannot stress enough how important pelvic floor physical therapy is. They can teach you how to push more effectively. They can help prevent tearing during birth. They can help you manage back pain. They can help prevent or reduce incontinence. And regardless of how you're giving birth, your pelvic floor has just held the weight of your baby for 9 months. So, you've got to have support on that. And just because you hear moms joking about peeing when they laugh, that does not have to be your story. Just because it's common does not mean it's normal. And then also, speaking from my own experience of having an unplanned C section, my PT was able to help me mobilize my scar and reduce scar adherence, which was really, really helpful. Next, I encourage you to find a massage therapist. If you choose to get a massage while you're pregnant, make sure your doctor has cleared you to do so and find someone that specializes in prenatal. But if you are planning on getting a massage after you have had your baby and you are pregnant, or if you are breastfeeding or nursing, write this down. I want you to ask for a breast pillow or a T wedge breastplate. That pressure is so uncomfortable, and those things are incredibly helpful. So, massage is great for helping you reduce pain from that repetitive motion of nursing. Next up is a lactation consultant. Now, you may be wondering how that fits into movement. Let me let you in on a little secret. There is something called breast gymnastics, which would have been very helpful for me to know before I was Googling lactation consultant near me at 2 a.m. when I woke up fully engorged with a blood and tons of breast pain. So, finding a lactation consultant that you are comfortable with before you have your baby is super important. And finally, in terms of your care team, a certified fast away coach, aka me, to help you with accountability and guidance for fueling your body with enough of the right nutrients and moving your body strategically. So, what you need at 3 months pregnant will likely be way different than what you need at 9 months postpartum. So, I am here to help you navigate health and fitness for the long haul. So, the key takeaway here is that you do not need to become an expert in everything. You just need to find the people that are and let them help you through it. Now, I have number 10 and 11 and a few more, so I'm going to fly through these. Carbs are your allies, not your enemies. When you are not sleeping through the night, or if you are navigating those hormonal shifts, carbohydrates fuel your brain, help you regulate blood sugar, and can help fight fatigue that gives you the energy your body desperately needs, and they are helpful for your baby's growth and development. Next up is focus on fiber. So, fiber rich carbs like sweet potatoes, oats, and berries help keep your energy really steady instead of causing those crashes. Fiber also helps improve digestion and gut health. And the American Pregnancy Association actually recommends pregnant women consume 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. And most of us are severely under that. Next up is embrace your body and don't try to bounce back or lose weight too soon after giving birth, because if you do, it can jeopardize your milk supply. Hop on over to my booth and we'll talk more about that. And then I have a few more, but since I know I only have like 1 minute left, my final and most important thing for you is that your intuition is greater than anything you will ever find on Instagram, TikTok, or a 2 a.m. Google search. We live in a time where information is everywhere, and scrolling Instagram for 2 minutes, you will see at least a dozen opinions about what you should be doing. But you know your body, you have been living in it your whole life, and you know your baby and have a connection to it that no one else does. So, no app and no influencer can decode your instincts. So, please tune in and honor the wisdom that is already within you. So, I know I'm at time. Thank you so much for being here. Please pop over to my booth. I would love to talk to you more about if the faster way is the right program for you. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but would love to have that conversation. And you can also follow me on Instagram at andrea.k.walters. Thanks so much for being here and enjoy the rest of the show.